Hello everyone, welcome to Intekspace's video with putting a 3D object into a still image. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to put a 3D object into a still image, and this is not known as motion tracking because if it was, that means that it will be a 2D video, and you're basically allowing it to become 3D upon After Effects or Cinema 4D. This is just a still image. So I have took a picture of my neighbor's driveway and put in this nice intersection yesterday morning around 9:30. This has not been edited at all, which is I'm a little surprised because I could see all the glare and whatnot, and I wasn't really too upset by that. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just have a simple text along the driveway, and that would probably be a good cover photo, I guess, for our YouTube page. So I'm gonna hop right into Cinema 4D and let's get started. So what I'm going to do is first thing is I'm going to create two materials, and you can just simply double click twice in order for you to create two materials. And for the first one we're just going to add the image, because materials, you'll be surprised at the amount of things materials can do. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take off specular, and we're going to go into color and click on these three dots so that the texture of it is going to be the actual image. Now this photo I'm selecting is a 720 pixel image. Now you're always going to get this message saying, do you want to create a copy of the project location? If you say no, nothing will happen. It just doesn't create a copy. If you say yes, you will get a folder that says text, but it stands for texture obviously, and within that folder it'll basically be your image. So I always click no. So now we got our image, nice and pretty. 1280 by 720. I'm surprised. I'm pretty sure I selected my phone to do 1080 because I'm kind of a 1080 person. But anyway, I'm gonna close this out, and I'm gonna before we get into the whole putting the image in and whatnot, I'm gonna just create a really quick material, and I'm gonna add reflection. I'm just gonna do a nice purple kind of material. So I'm just gonna do. Oh wait, I don't want that. So for texture, I'm going to put for now, I'm going to put this at 50%, whatever. It doesn't have to be exact. Nothing's perfect nowadays. So I'm also going to do the color as well because I forgot about that. So I'm just going to add this. There you go. That looks pretty good. So I have my material and I had the still image material. Now we're going to get into the actual, putting the 3D object into the still image. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to create a background. And we're going to drag the material with the still image into the background. And as you can see, now we have the background that's part of Cinema 4D, or for part of the file. Alright, so now I'm going to line the grid, which you don't have to do, but it can help out big time when it comes to knowing where to place stuff. So I'm just going to zoom out just a bit. I'm going to align this. I'm going to zoom out a little bit more. Let me see if I can align this properly. And one nifty trick that I forgot to mention is if you hold the 1 key, you will be able to move it. If you hold the 2 key, you'll be able to zoom in. And if you hold the 3 key, you can rotate. So that's just a nifty little trick that if you guys did not know, you guys now know. Alright, so I'm just going to align this nice and properly, make sure. I just want to get the idea that this line is kind of going along with the driveway. Doesn't really have to be perfect, but still. So anyway, now we're going to add our platform and then create our 3D object. So we're going to create a floor. And normally you would think that, creating a floor will actually do it. No, it's not going to really be for this case. We're going to create a plane, and this is going to be our floor. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to stretch out the horizontal part of the, just drag this along, just making sure that it's along with the driveway. It's pretty good. I'm going to do the same vertically. I'm going to move this along. I'm going to add this a little just in case if there's any shadowing. Alright, so we have our plane, which is part of the background. So if we render this out, you actually physically see it. And we don't want that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drag the material into the plane. And now as you can see, we have the image right there. So if we render this out, you can still see two of them. It's just one's kind of compressed together really badly. So we don't want that. What we want to do is give the illusion that the plane is not there, but in reality, it is there. So, as you can see, when I drag the material, we have the attributes for the texture and whatnot. And you can see we have projection right here. We're going to change this to frontal. And now if we render, you can still see that plane. So, but it's still part of the, like, it actually aligned itself with the background. But so you can still see the plane. So we don't want that. So what we're going to do is we're going to right click on the plane, go to Cinema 4D tags, and go to compositing. Then we're going to do compositing background. Now if we render this out, it's not there. Don't see it. It's going to put our image or our 3D object into the still image. So I'm going to create a nice little every time I create Y, so long just to create simple text. Took a little faster than expected. I'm going to kind of adjust this quite the number on as this. I'm going to do the reverse would. Alright, so this wants to show up, then we'll get started with it. Alright, so that was my fault. I had to wait at least like a good 5 minutes in order for this tab to come up. I don't know why it takes so long every time. But anyway, let's get back into this. So I paused the recording and here we are. So I'm just going to increase the depth to at least 60. Just so that we can see some, depth. Actually, no, I'm going to increase that quite a lot more. Let me do 100. Okay, I didn't say 1100. That's cool. 100's good. Alright, so I think about just putting a simple Intekspace. And the reason why I usually would press enter when it comes to text, and then normally the text would be there, but not in this case. For some reason, when you press enter, it actually creates a new line. I prefer now I have to do tab, which I don't mind, but still. So I'm going to change the font actually. I know some people like to stick with the Go UI, but there's kind of a font that I've been adjusting to ever since I discovered it. It was it was from another channel that I watched at least a few months ago, and then I decided, I'm going to use this font from now on. And it's called Kickback or something K. Let me actually find the text. Yeah, right here, Kickflip BRK. And I don't know why, I just like how the text just looks from there. So I'm actually going to Control Z that because that was a complete mistake. And for the line, I always like to stay in the middle. And I'm going to increase this height quite the number because this is looking much more better. I would like to stay kind of in the absolute number, so I'm just going to do 700. Probably didn't notice that 701 go down, or the size. But anyway, so we have Intekspace all set to go. And actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to duplicate this by holding Control. No, wait, no, let me just do Control C, Control V. Alright, and the second material is going to be the same idea, it's just not going to be exactly blue. Yeah, I'm just going to have it more blue. I'm going to do the same. Alright, that's good. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to split the text up. So I'm going to Control, duplicate, make 2. So now they're in the same spot. It's just, however, one's going to be space, and the other one's going to be Intek. Yep, didn't mean to press enter, meant to press tab. Alright, so the Intek is going to move over, right over here is good. And the space is going to move over here, which looks pretty aligned. So what I can do actually is hold Control and then Alt G. So that now they're all in a group, because I'm not going to be messing with them no more. So actually, before we continue, I'm just going to drag the material, add it there, add it there. So now if we render this out, it kind of, it's in there, but it's, it's not really realistic. So what I'm going to do actually is I'm going to give both of them a nice cap, a nice fill cap. So I'm just going to give both fill cap. And the more you increase it, the more you can see the kind of the angle, but I don't really care for it, so I just leave it at default, which is 5. Alright, so we have Intek, we have the space. Now what we need is we need the shadowing to kind of occur within this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into the rendering settings real quick and adjust this as fast as possible. So I'm going to do 1280 by 720, which I was about to do 1920. I'm going to lock the ratio and anti-aliasing. I'm going to do best. I'm going to do 2 by 2 instead. For the effect, I'm going to do ambient occlusion, and I'm also going to do a sharpened filter, but you're probably not going to notice it. So I'm going to do 25%, So like I said, you probably may not notice it. Who knows? For accuracy, I'm going to put up to 100 because it's not like it's going to be, it's not like, global illumination is going to come into this. But however, we are going to add a light to this so that you can actually see it. So now if we render this out, which is going to take a little bit of time, we can actually see some shadowing going on, which I'm really starting to like this already. Now, you probably noticed the sharpen filter already, because some of these edges and the corners are kind of like, sharp, obviously, because it's a sharpen filter. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add the camera really quick, put it to its perspective, or we're going to go to its perspective, and I really like to keep the focal length to normal lens, but for this case I'm just going to leave it as it is right now. And I'm actually going to increase the light balance into something a little bit I'm actually going to crank this up, but to the point where you probably won't even notice, because if we go down it goes blue, if we go up it gets yellow. So trying to find the right number. Let me see if this is good. Alright, this is good. One way that you could save time actually is if you click and hold on this render region, you can actually select render region. And I'm just going to go over here. And it's just going to render out how this area will look. And that's actually pretty good, I guess. Alright, so we have the plane, we have the text. I'm just going to get the camera, which doesn't really show a difference, but I'm just going to zoom out. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a simple light. And I'm just going to add a light. And I'm going to drag it quite away from the Intekspace, so let me see in its perspective. Kind of has a shadow to it, so I'm just going to put it over here. I'm going to leave the type as a Omni. Shadow, I'm going to put soft shadow. I want to say volumetric. I'm going to give this a go. So I'm going to go back into the camera's perspective, and I'm going to try this out. And as you can see, it's looking a lot more better. But however, this is a little bit too much shadowing, which is unnecessary. And plus, with this plane, we kind of don't want that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get the camera just to end the render. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take off the volumetric. Guess we don't really need anything like that. Let me go back and see how this looks without the volumetric lighting. This is actually looking pretty good enough already. If anything, I'm probably going to decrease the intensity of the light, because everything else is looking pretty fine except for the space. So I'm just going to drag out the plane. I'm going to decrease the lighting so it's not as bright. Trying to get as realistic as possible with the shadowing of the driveway. Alright, this is looking much more better than the other one. And I can still see that shadow, so I really don't want to let that bother me too much. So I'm going to get out the camera. I'm just going to crank this up just quite a bit. So I'm going to go back into the view, and I'm actually going to crank this up quite a bit too. I'm going to render this out. And the good thing is with the camera, it's only going to render what's in this box. So it's not like it's going to render out this little corner, or you'll probably even see the gray box outside. Alright, this is actually looking pretty nice. I'm liking that reflection of the grass, how it's like right there. But obviously it isn't there. It's just an illusion. So one thing I'm probably going to do is increase the plane just a little bit more, only because I saw that reflection where it kind of showed the outside of the plane. So I don't want that, so I'm just going to drag this forward just a bit. I'm going to render this out. Let's see how this looks. And I am actually not seeing the end of the plane anymore. But we can see the bottom of this, which that's not really too much to worry about. Like I said, I have the 720 by 1080, so it's not like I have to worry about the hole going outside of the box. Nothing to worry about. Anyway, I'm actually going to keep this photo, and I'm going to save it as the cover photo for YouTube. So when you guys see this, I'm pretty sure you guys are probably going to want to know how to do this. So check out this video, give this video a like, don't forget to comment and subscribe to Intekspace, and hope you guys actually enjoyed this video. See ya.